Welcome back to my kitchen, everybody. We are making a dish today. I'm not exactly sure what to call it. It's funny. Have y'all ever seen any of those cooking shows where they're like, well, this is a deconstructed whatever. This is deconstructed this, or it really just went wrong in the kitchen, so they're calling it deconstructed. That is what we are doing today, because I have been wanting to make lasagna. And I have had the ingredients. I actually have all the ingredients for once. So it's not deconstructed in the fact that I don't have what I need. It's deconstructed in the fact that the igniter burned up in our stove. And it has to do with the wiring in the shop. So we are without the oven part of our stove. I just have the cooktop. So I am going to use up all the ingredients that I have for lasagna and make it in a pot instead of in a pan. And I'm calling it lasagna because it has all the ingredients of lasagna. So when you think of lasagna, you think of like the big flat noodles and cottage cheese. I'm actually going to use a goulash noodle instead, but I'm still going to put cottage cheese in it. Because if I wasn't going to put cottage cheese in it, I just call it goulash. But it has cottage cheese in it, so technically I think that makes it a lasagna, but without the big flat noodles. I don't know. You tell me. What should we call it? But we're going to make it in a pot on the cook stove. So what I've got going on is I have 2 pounds of hamburger cooking on the stove. I'm going to chop that all up and make it yummy, and I'm going to boil my noodles. It's going well so far. Okay, so the hamburger and the tomato sauce are in the skillet. Just drain the noodles and put them back in the pan. I'm going to add the hamburger and the tomato sauce to the noodles and then stack the cottage cheese on top and cover it with cheese. I moved to the living room so I could catch up on my garden answer while my pot is cooling down enough to put in the fridge. But what we did was we put the heat on low, put the lid on, and just really, really low simmered it. And you have to remember, if you're going to spread the cottage cheese and the cheese out over the meat and stuff, you have to remember to poke some holes, like with a fork or a knife or something, down into the bottom of the pot. Otherwise, you will have this terrible, terrible mess happen. I've done it once before in my life where I did that, and it was a disaster. So what'll happen is the bottom will burn, and it'll actually keep the smoke and everything underneath that cottage cheese, and it's just really bad. So make sure you poke some holes down through so that the heat can come up to the top, and check on it quite frequently. Don't just leave it, because if it starts to burn, you need to know like immediately so that you can take it off the heat. So it's not as easy as just walk away lasagna they have in your oven, but it is delicious. I actually didn't make it all the way through to like cooked as well as I would like, because I was starving and I had a piece. But it was so good, and I wasn't lacking anything in the flavor or the taste or the meltiness or the mesh together. It was great. I actually cooked it on low with the holes and checked on it for about a half hour. You could probably turn up the heat just a little bit if you wanted to speed that time up, but I really wouldn't. I would just really slowly simmer that, and it's totally worth it. It's delicious. So everything's going to change slightly depending on your heat and how much liquid and all that jazz, but it was really good. So if you try this, let me know, and if we have come up with a name for it, stovetop lasagna, something like that, let me know. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.